Good morning.
Good morning, Jeannie.
Good morning. Good to see you here, Flo.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm just getting everything set up. I don't know why I scheduled this. Usually I schedule these for 10:30 because we do that live feed, so I don't want things to run into it, but I had scheduled this for 10 for some reason. So anyways, let me just get everything up on my screen and we will get going in just a minute here. Join. Okay. So I know there's going to be some people here today that stay co-host that are doing this for the very first time, which I think is super exciting. Happy that you're here. And I know there's a lot of people here who are from other places. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things because I haven't done this project probably in a couple of years. And I was re-watching and getting some information. I want to, sorry. Let me go ahead and show you if you've never been on a Zoom video. So I know, Miss Carolyn, you have. Miss Ingrid, I'm not sure if you have before. Let me let Luann in. I think Luann, this might be her first class. I'm not sure. So I just wanted to go over some rules. Number one, you must be dressed from the waist up. Everyone can check that one off. I don't know. I can only see Carolyn Lindsay's head, so I'm not sure what she has on. And but what I'm going to be seeing is I'm going to be seeing this screen right here. And I leave this. Hi, Miss Ingrid. Good to see you. And so I just want to go over a couple of things. Number one, and I think some people are just going to roll in the next couple of minutes. I am going to mute this, but if you are on like a laptop or something like this, then you have a mute and unmute in this corner. If you're on an iPad, I really don't know, or if you're on a Mac, but you can unmute and mute right here. Yes.
iPad should swipe up from the bottom and that screen will come up.
iPad. Oh, okay. Swipe up.
Swipe up from
Okay.
the bottom of the screen.
So if you're,
toggle.
and you know what's so sad is I'm going to forget that.
That's all right.
But
watch for
swipe up.
Luann.
Oh, she's in.
Okay, because her email kept bouncing back.
She's in.
All right.
I just saw her. I will see you up here when once we start class. I'm going to go to a gallery view. So this is what I'm going to be seeing, and I'll see people here. Let me let Nancy in. And then, so if you, but your screen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spotlight this. And this will keep it so this screen stays big, and for the class it's going to be over here on my machine and whatever I'm working on. So that'll stay big for you, but as soon as the class starts, I'm going to go to gallery view so I can see all your beautiful faces. If you want, I'm going to periodically ask you for like a thumbs up, just to be like, okay, did everyone get that part? Let's go ahead and move on. So I might ask you for like a physical thumbs up. You can just give me a thumbs up just like that. If you want, you can use reactions. So down here on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see something that says reactions. And when you touch that, I have a touch screen. You can choose, oh, thumbs up, or, oh, no, I'm crying because I'm totally lost. But I will be looking at your faces on the screen. And then you can always chat. So if you want, you can hit the chat. This is the thing I check least because I can barely handle what I'm doing in front of me. So I will occasionally look over here in the chat so you can put in a message like, isn't this fun, guys? Or you can private message and you can say, oh, Ingrid, I really love that thing hanging in your room. Your sewing room looks incredible. So you can private message people here too, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And I'm gonna switch myself over to gallery view and we are ready to get started. So what we're going to be working on today is we're going to be working on this tooth fairy pillow. I'm actually going to be working on the, I'm going to be doing the little girl one. So I just grabbed a kit this morning. I have a friend who's having a little girl, so I thought I would just make her one. If you did get a kit, you got something that kind of looked like this. or else you could do your own fabric. I've seen so many adorable ones where they use such cute fabric. So I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of things before we get started. Number one, I felt like, I'm gonna grab this. I made my own pillow insert. And if you wanna make one, because I felt like, you know, I had this in, I was just watching my other video and I actually had forgotten about this, but I thought when I put in the one that Kimberbell had, the Kimberbell pillow insert that's 9.5 by 5.5, it almost underfilled. So I did a pillow insert, and if you do want to make your own, because I just save up my scraps of muslin, I just did, I measured my fabric and I did it an inch bigger. So I measured it 10.5 by 6.5 with a 1/4 inch. That means it's going to be 10 by 6. So it's going to be 1/2 an inch bigger. And I just thought that filled a little bit bigger. So if you use the Kimberbell insert and you feel like it underfills, you can make your own. And I leave it like this. I don't even trim my corners. Sometimes I don't even sew it shut. I just kind of pop it in there. So if you decide to make your own, I'd recommend that you measure your, and I just did muslin. I'd recommend you do it 10.5, measure your fabric 10.5 by 6.5. So your finished pillow is going to be 10 by 6. And you have to do an insert. If you just try and stuff it, it's going to be lumpy. And you just don't want it to be lumpy. So that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'd forgotten this actually, but we're gonna have like it. I put leather in your kit. So if you got kits, you should have gotten leather instead of the glitter, because I just thought the leather looked cuter with the glitter instead of being glitter on glitter. So don't think that was a mistake. We did that on purpose, just so it would just be, you know, something a little bit different. And I thought the leather. The other thing was, and quite honestly, I'd forgotten all about this. The measurements here that they gave you, I made them a little bit bigger. We can use it with the measurements. What measurements did because you know they changed this. They actually changed this later on. So I'm gonna check, but I think we cut you according to the measurements that they gave. But you might want to make it a little bigger in the future. We're gonna have just enough for it to work, but it's gonna be super, super tight. So if you want to adjust your measurements, and this is gonna be for your back pieces, you might want to do it a little bigger, 5 by 7 and 10.5 by 7. And that's just going to give you a little bit more. So I might you should maybe write that in and maybe consider doing that instead. So things that I changed, I think your kits were cut for the original. So we'll just keep that in mind when we fold everything over. Let's just keep that in mind. But it leaves you just like 1/4 inch on either side. So our placement's going to have to be really spot on. And I use leather here instead of the glitter. And then my pillow insert. Just a couple of notes, if you're going to do this in the future, that I went ahead and I changed in my directions, okay? All right, ladies, I want you to go ahead and let's heat up our irons. So if you have an iron by you, let's go ahead and heat it up. You should have a piece of cutaway in your kit. I cut your cutaway in your kit so it would fit I know not everyone has a 6 by 10. So I think I cut it big enough so you can fit it into an 8 by 12 too, if that's going to be the size that you're going to be working with. But I want you to just grab your hoop and we are going to hoop up first. I am going to be using a 6 by 10 because I do have one. If you don't have a 6 by 10 and you love Kimberbell, I talk to a lot of ladies that are like, I love Kimberbell. If you are one of those ladies, you might want to consider getting a 6 by 10. I know like the Luminaire and Solaris didn't come with those in-between sizes, like the 6 by 10 and the 8 by 12, but they're really great sizes to have. And I just want you to go ahead and hoop up. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Let's push this in. I usually push in from the top. And remember, because I know there's people who are new, so I stop and mention some of these things. You have arrows on the top and a little notch on the top of your hoop. So make sure that's always facing up. push it in, pull out any wrinkles that you might have by taking your stabilizer and pulling in this way. And then you can hand tighten. And if you have a hoop tightener, you can hoop tighten that. And we're just going to take this and I'm just going to put it over at my machine. And let's talk about your fabric pieces. There are 2 sets of directions. If you don't have a big enough hoop and all you have is a 4x4, then that's what these pink ones are for. If you have a big enough hoop, and what we're going to be using, we're using the 6x10. So don't get that confused. It's not like you have pink fabric, you use these, and you have blue and you use these. This is for the smaller hoops. I'm just going to take that and put that to the side because I just want to make sure nobody's confused and you're using the wrong set. We are using the 6x10 instructions. Okay. All right. So it's going to sew out a template. We're going to be doing some flip and fold today. And first thing that we're going to do is we are going to fold our pocket fabric. So you should have a little piece of fabric. I think it's 3 by 5 inches. And it is going to be for this little pocket right here. So if you grab your little kit, here's mine. Looks like this. We are folding it hamburger, like this way. Don't fold hot dog, not long and skinny, hamburger, like that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take us to our ironing station. And my iron should be heated up now. Let me grab my computer so I can see you all. Make sure everyone's good. All right. So let's just go ahead and just fold that over. If you want to use best press, you can. I always like it because then it gives me a nice crisp edge. So I'm just going to fold that over and that one is done and ready. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do your pillow back. So you're going to have 2 pieces. Let me measure this really quick. That is going to be 6 inches. So you have these 2. Let's talk about your different pieces so we don't get them confused. You're going to have this piece right here. That's going to be square. That's going to be the fabric that is going to go behind your tooth. You're going to have one long piece that's for the back, and then this other long piece that's for the back. So those are your 2 back pieces. We're going to take this one right here, and we're going to fold that over in half. So just go ahead and fold it. Mine has a little lip. Let me fold that back. Make sure you're not folding it this way. You want to fold it this way, okay? So if you put them next to each other, you want to keep it long this way, and we're just going to fold this over and just fold it in half and give it a little press. Just right in half. Is it Direct? Is that? It's not Ellen. Tell me your name again with the white shirt with the red on the shoulders. You're muted. So to unmute, you can either unmute. I just want to make sure. Yes. What's your name again?
It's Christine Deeroff.
Okay, Christine. All right. I just like knowing everyone's name. So I have everyone else's name up there. Whose iPhone? The one that says iPhone, who's that? So I have Diane, Rolo, Joanne. Is that Annette or is it Ellie? I forget. Okay, so we're going to fold that one over. Now the other one that we're going to fold over, and I'm going to grab my best press, and I'm going to grab a hot ruler or a hot hammer, doesn't matter. And if you don't have these, don't worry about it, but they make it easy. The directions for this one, it says to fold it over 1/2 inch. So if you fold it, what I like to do when I have things like this is I just give it a little spray with my best press because that'll hold it. And then I have my hot ruler and I'm just going to fold this over 1/2 inch. And if you don't have it, just eyeball it. Does not have to be perfect, ladies. So I'm just going to go ahead and just press that over. And then I'm going to take this out, and that best press kind of holds it in place for you. And then you get a nice crisp edge. Okay. Okay. So now you're going to have these 2 pieces. That's prepped. This is prepped for your pocket. The last thing you're gonna have to do is you're just gonna peel away your backing on this. And I find the easiest way to do it is to fold back on the protective side, just fold back, and then it'll just kind of split, or it should. There. And just go ahead and peel that off. I know, I think I did like one of my first Kimberbell projects and I left this on. I didn't know I was supposed to take it off because I like to do the project first and then read the instructions. I don't know if any of you do that, but sometimes I do that. So you're just gonna go ahead and remove that. And this protective coating, you can just throw that away. All right, and I think we are prepped then. We did all of these toppings.
Is that sparkly fabric that you just used? Is that
This
what that
is
is?
gonna be the Kimberbell glitter.
Oh, it's Kimberbell. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the Kimberbell glitter. And if you don't have the Kimberbell glitter, don't worry about it. You could use white fabric, you could use white leather, you can use whatever's in your stash. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be this, but yes, because your kids' teeth are going to be so sparkly like this glitter because they clean them so well. So yeah, that's just going to be the Kimberbell glitter. We're ready to load our design. So let's go ahead and come on over to the machine. I'm going to be on a Baby Lock Solaris today, but whatever you have is great. We don't care what machine you have. We just like that you're embroidering with us. And I am going to put in a white pre-wound bobbin. So my favorite are just white Filtech bobbins. So let me take that out. I like the Filtech bobbins. The perfect combination for when you're doing your embroidery, something a little bit lighter in weight than in your upper. And the Filtech bobbins, number one, they fill. There's so much thread on there, so you don't have to do as many bobbin changes. And my embroidery just comes out beautiful with it on. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this on. As far as thread in the upper, color's not going to make a difference until we get to this quilting right here. So I'm just going to put a light gray in just so you can see my stitches. But if you want to just put in white, you're not going to have to do a bobbin change for a while. So I'm going to take my thread out. You should never take your thread and pull it back here because you've got a tension disc in here. But usually what I do is I unthread it and then it just comes right out once you get to this spot. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and change that out. And if you have any questions as we're going, just stop and ask. Stop and ask. I'd rather keep us all together than lose somebody along the way. We're just ladies having fun this morning. So I use both my vertical spool stand and I use this. I'm short. And sometimes my vertical spool stand is just a little too out of reach for me. So I use my horizontal a lot. I know some people who never use their horizontal, they just use their vertical, and I totally get it. But my arms, I have like little T-Rex arms, I guess. So I'm going to go here into embroidery. For me, I have to go to my pocket, and I did load my USB. And we are looking for not the 4x4 and not the 4x4. I should have a 6x10 on here. Where's my, hang on just 1 second, ladies. Sorry. I loaded that this morning. It should still be on my screen. Hang on. So you should be pulling the 6x10 design where it all happens together. And let me grab that one more time. Here we go. All right, there it is. Let's try that one more time. There he is. Okay, this is the one that you want. All right, so grab the one that has the 6x10 all together, and that way you don't, oh, and look at, now he's there twice. Very strange, because he wasn't there a minute ago. And things I like to do. Number one, I like to choose my hoop size. So I know exactly how much room I have. To do that, you have a settings button if you're on a Baby Lock or Brother. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my settings button, and I'm going to go ahead and choose my 6x10. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And then I know exactly what my embroidery field is and that everything is fitting just fine. I'm just going to go ahead and touch embroidery. And the first thing it wants to do is a placement stitch for your batting. So, and I'm going to just leave this in the gray. The color does not make a difference. Let me go ahead and thread up. Is everyone ready? We're ready to stitch. Just give me a thumbs up. We're all good? Excellent. I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. Whoop. Diane, did you have a question or was that I'm ready?
No, I hit the wrong thing.
Okay, but you're ready? You're
Yes.
just, it's a little wave. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my spray tin and my spray. Okay, grab your batting. I use a spray tin. So, and I'm a sprayer. You can use tape, and it's funny because this design is like 2 years old. And so normally Kimberbell is going to ask you to tape. So this is a dime spray tent. This is what I use. I'm going to grab my batting. Don't forget your batting has a wrong side and a right side. The wrong side's going to be a little bumpier. That's where you want to spray. The side that's dimpled in, that's the right side. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay it in here. This is what we use at the store, which is KK 100. And just give it a little shot of spray and it's going to hold it down. If you don't, your batting's going to get pushed around. So, and let me get it going. There we go. And just a little bit, ladies, you don't want to, this isn't like spraying your hair big in the 80s. You just want to go ahead and give it a little bit of a spray. I'm going to pull this back and then I'm going to put my batting down. Make sure you cover the entire thing. And you just, I do, and you're going to see it today. I will spray at my hoop today because we're going to do a flip and folds. But normally I spray in my spray tent. The spray tent's kind of fancy. I wasn't fancy like that. We're doing the next step, which is going to be the template. Go ahead and stitch that out. I used to just use a pizza box. And you know which boxes are perfect are going to be if you have a snap hoop, keep your snap hoop box and use that as a spray box. Because sometimes when you're doing Kimberbell and you're doing like border strips and things like that, it's nice to have something a little bit bigger. But for like smaller stuff, I just use my spray tent. Christine, are you stitching with us today?
I'm not stitching, I'm watching because I have a multi-needle, but I need my computer in order to do that. So I'm quietly watching here.
Okay. So we're just tacking this down. So stitch the batting tack down and piecing template. And it doesn't talk about trimming and it doesn't look like it trims. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to place this piece of fabric. So get that piece of fabric that's square. Maybe even give it a little bit of a press because I know that mine was a little wrinkled. Probably should have had you press that before. The measurements on this are really big. If for your future ones, you just want to, I'm just going to get out that crease down the center. In the future, you want to cut them down. I think I did cut it down a little bit on my instructions. I wrote something here that you could do 7 by 7 and that your sentiment piece could be 5 by 7 instead. Maybe I'll just take a little picture and send that to you. But these are measurements that afterwards I was like, oh, we could have made that a little bit smaller. Okay, we're going to do a technique called flip and fold. So I'm going to give this a little shot of spray. This is for, and I think it's so funny because like I said, this is actually, they printed it out in 2019 and you're going to see with almost all your Kimberbell instructions, they say to like tape that. So you can tape if you want. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray. So back to my spray tent. You're not going to see the spray tent. I just show that to you in the beginning so you know where I'm spraying. But I'm going to give it a little shot of spray. And I want you to lay it down on the big square on the top. Don't lay it down on the small square, the big square on the top. Just going to take this, and this is going to keep it from sliding around and okay. And just kind of flatten it down. So this is the step that we're doing right now. This one right here. And you might have blue fabric. And then you are going to go ahead and just put your foot down and hit start or hit your start button. It's going to do this line here, which is going to be your trim line and your placement line. Miss Carolyn, you're good? Carolyn Lindsay, how about Ingrid? How are you? Excellent. Miss Nancy? Excellent. I don't know who iPhone is. Whose iPhone? I see you're like, you have a light fixture with like 5 circles. What's your name? Is it Ellen? Do you see the mute and unmute in the lower left? Okay.
No, it's Jenny.
It's Jenny.
Yeah,
Jenny?
I'm laying it down and I'm watching you is what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Once you have this line, we're going to trim it. And just imagine that stitch line goes all the way across and just trim it. It doesn't have to be perfect on the sides. I love my double curved scissors for stuff like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and you know what's funny is my Patrick sharpened those for me and it cuts perfectly for him as a right-hander, but as a left-hander, I don't know why I can't use those. So I'm going to just go across. All right. And we're going to go ahead and now we're going to get our other piece of fabric. So the other piece is going to be the white piece. And this is where your sentiment is going to go on. Make sure that you put it right side down. Don't spray it. We never spray on the right side. So you can look at your fabric. It's tone on tone. So you want to make sure you have it right. We're going to lay it down and we're going to take one of those raw edges, lay it right down on where the stitches were. Slide this back on and it's going to stitch your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then we're going to flip and press. You can take it out and press it. I never do that. I more opt to give it a little shot of spray. And I know I usually don't spray at my machine if I don't have to, but I do it when I'm doing this pressing. And so we stitch the seam. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give this a little shot of spray right here, and I'm going to fold it back. Okay. If you feel like you're going to be out of control with your spray, don't do it at your machine. Take it off your machine, spray it someplace else. But it's one of my superpowers, losing stuff and spraying in the hoop. And you can see or hear, I'm barely spraying. Just the tiniest bit. If you looked at this, you might see a couple little drops of spray. That's all I have. And I'm going to flip it back and I'm going to fold it. You could give this a little finger press right here too. And that's enough for me. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, give it a finger press, pull it back and put 2 pieces of tape there. But you just don't want like a sloppy seam here. All right. We are on to, we just did this. Now we're going to stitch the pillow front tack down line. It's going to go all the way around. Color still doesn't really make a difference. So go ahead. I'm still have my gray in. And then you're going to have to change your thread out. If you didn't spray, you want to just hold it back. You're going to have plenty of room. You can just pull your fabric back. I like the spray because I feel like it keeps everything really neat and tidy. My seams come out great. Everything looks great. And we are ready to quilt. So here is your quilting screen right here. Just verify that that's what you're seeing on your screen. We're on step 6 of 22. And I'm going to put in my white thread now. So you're going to put in whatever color thread you want to do the quilting. I'm going to take that gray out. And I am putting in white. And this is going to be 2 minutes of stitching, and you can just go ahead and hit start. And it is doing step number 9 right now, and it's stitching the background quilting. And just let it go. Any questions? Are we good, ladies? Carolyn, I'm surprised you didn't do the cheap fairy pillow when I did it back in 2020. Did you not do it then?
I'm not sure if I did or didn't, but it's a good refresher.
I know, I know.
As I say, this is my first Kimberbell pattern, so I've never seen one stitch out. So I was really curious to see how this works.
Can you repeat that one more time?
This is the first Kimberbell pattern that I've seen. I'm new to Kimberbell, so I was really interested to see how this works.
So, and you know what? It's funny because like I said, this design, it came out, what, 2019? I feel like they've changed a lot in their instructions. So their instructions are even more detailed. So they'll put like, tape this here. They'll tell you, they'll have like little squares that show you when color doesn't make a difference. They'll have a square when color does make a difference with the thread to use. So even in the time that I did this for the first time, and now, yeah, I was looking at things going, wow, things have changed a lot. So Christine, prepared to become addicted. Their projects are super fun.
So do you do more online classes? Because I don't know if I have anybody doing Kimberbell in St. Louis or not. I just discovered you because somebody posted the Tooth Fairy pillow and people were asking, where do you get it? Where do you get it? So then I was Google searching and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a Zoom class on this. I've got to try this.
Yeah, so we do, okay, so there's, so they used to do Kimberbell Club. And so the dealers, we would just buy from them the whole year, and then we would, teach the class. So this comes from their 2020 series. And then right now they're doing what's called Digital Dealer. So
Not in the register.
can you just check Shopify where she did a purchase, and there might be a number in there. So there were so many fun projects that came out from 2017 to 2020 that I thought I'd do like a best of series. So we're doing like probably one a quarter. Like we did this one. The next one I'm going to do is it's like the reindeer bag one. I think we'll do that one maybe in November or December. But we do a ton of Kimberbell classes, a ton of online classes, ton of Zoom classes, and we do a lot of sew-alongs as well. Okay, so that was step number 9. Let's go ahead and turn our instructions. And you should have gotten these instructions attached to your invitation. If for some reason you can't find them, just reach out and I will get them for you. So we're going to change thread to the desired color. I'm going to use white because we're going to stitch the tooth placement line. Use the same color thread that you plan to use the tack down, and I'm going to do it in white. So just go ahead and hit start. It's going to do a placement line for you. We do sew along. So for all the quilts and all the like bench pillows, the new ones coming out, they're free sew along. So we'll do a sew along. The next one we're going to do is Merry Christmas, y'all. And we're finishing up Sweetest Pie. So if there's a quilt coming out, we'll do it as a free sew along that you can just join in, and I record everything. Everything gets recorded. And everything is posted to either YouTube or our Facebook page. This is the glitter. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray. Or you can tape it down. Ladies, I want you to do whatever makes your heart happy. So if you like tape, tape. I think I need a new can.
That you use the shiny leather that you use for the crown, is that something that you sell, or is that just something like at a Hobby Lobby, or where did you get that?
Product. So it's a
It's a
Kimberbell
Kimberbell,
product.
okay.
Yep. It's just Kimberbell leather. And if you ladies want anything that are in the class, whenever you do a class with us, you get a 10%, I'm sorry, you get 20% off the class discount. So just make a list and send it to me.
Okay,
Because I don't, there's a, yeah, I don't have a code for you. Not everything's on the website. So just email me. Okay. Put
Okay.
down your leather, ladies, or I'm sorry, put down your applique glitter. Also heat up your iron because we are going to press this. And just go ahead and hit start. And then this is step number 12. This is doing the tooth tack down line. So if you were doing something more current, the directions would say trim as desired, and they want you to leave about 1/8 of an inch. Anytime I'm leaving, because when you're doing a Kimberbell project, it's either going to say trim close to the stitch or it's going to say trim as desired. Anytime it says trim as desired, I like to use 2 different pairs of scissors. These are my curved straight. The reason these are so nice is because the curve allows you to get over the edge of the hoop. And then you have curved. So when I am trimming, I know that's blurry. When I'm trimming close to the stitch, I use curved. When I'm trimming as desired, I use curved straight. So I'm going to use curved straight right now because I'm going to leave a little bit extra outside of that stitch line. So let's go ahead. I'm going to slide this over here and we're going to just trim a little bit outside of that stitch line. So go ahead and slide it off if you need to. And you are going to just trim right around that. And I like about 1/8 of an inch. If you want to trim to the stitch, you can do that too. Remember, ladies, it's all about what makes your heart happy. I know I get kind of bossy, but you don't have to listen to me. You can just be like, I'm not going to listen to her. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to do it my own way. And I am good with that. Trim it up, ladies. Make it look gorgeous. So I remember often forgetting to get the tooth from under the pillow. I don't know if you ladies ever forgot. You like shoot up in the morning, like out of bed, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to get the tooth. And then you have to sneak into their room and you have to try while they're sleeping with their head on that pillow, put your arm under and pull the tooth out without waking them up. So I swear I wish I had, because this wouldn't have made a difference. Then you could have forgotten and it would have just been hanging on the door and you could have, and then my kids started writing the tooth fairy notes. So Violet started putting a note under there. I have twins who are 17 at this point, so we don't do the tooth fairy. What happened?
No, she's there.
She's okay?
She's on.
Oh.
Yeah, she just can't find her.
Oh,
Microphone and stuff, but she's there. She's watching.
I see you, Luann. I was worried. I was like, what happened to Luann? And I see your thing over now, but I was worried that you weren't in there. So this would have saved me so much heartache and sleep if I just had a little pillow on the door. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you're done trimming. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Luann, I don't know if you're trimmed up, and Jen, I don't know if you're trimmed up. Think we're trimmed? All right. Okay, next thing. Oh, don't slide it on because we need to iron. And I put then iron, and I said iron now before leather is attached. Oh yeah, you've got to iron before because we're using leather instead. If you are using glitter, you can wait until the crown goes on. If you are using leather and you got a kit, you want to iron now because you don't want to press your leather. Don't press directly on your Kimberbell glitter. You want to use a press sheet or a pressing cloth. You could just use a piece of muslin if you wanted. I love these sheets. This is the Goddess pressing sheet. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the best. I also have like a big applique white one, and that one's kind of thick. I really like this one. Your instructions, I think say like, I don't know, 15 to 20 seconds or whatever, but you don't have to do it that long. It's going to adhere. You're going to know it's adhered because you're going to see those like lines in your quilting and you are set. That is adhered, but you do not want to put your iron directly on your glitter. All right, slide that back on your machine. We are going to do your crown next. Up to you. You can just go ahead and use that same white thread, but I do have this one. This is the glide thread. Oh no, this isn't glide. I brought thread with me. Here's my thread that I brought with me. This is sterling from Glide. I was using this in the sweetest pie. So I was like, ooh, I have the perfect color silver. I'm going to bring my sterling with me. All right, I'm putting away my white. It says change thread to desired color. I'm using sterling. Stitch the crown placement line. Use the same color you're going to use for your tack down. So let me put that in. You can just go ahead and hit start. It is going to do your placement line. Does everyone have kids or grandkids in here you're making your little pillow for? Is that what we're doing? So this is really gross. Like the other day, it probably wasn't the other day. It was like one summer and it wasn't that long ago. I don't know why, because I am a hoarder. I know exactly why. I'm a hoarder. I kept my kids' teeth. I know that's disgusting, isn't it? Okay, go ahead and hit start. I had they were in my jewelry box and my kids are like, what are these? I had all their little baby teeth. Oh, they're so cute. And you know, once my kids were like, those are disgusting, I just threw them away. But I totally hoarded their baby teeth. All right, you have a little piece of leather. If you spray it, don't be worried. The spray is going to sweat through to the front side. It just comes right off and it's not even sticky or anything like that.
Is this run in the sewing machine?
No, that's
No.
an 8-weight thread.
Okay.
Serger loopers only. They can go up to 12 weight in the sewing machine. Okay, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's like, just like, well, you can see on this side, that's how much spray I have on there. And see how it sweats to the front? It just comes right off. Don't worry about it. You're not ruining anything. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. And you wanna center it because I'm gonna trim this as desired. And you want a little bit of an edge all the way around. And just go ahead and tack it down. So step 15, I just wrote here, faux leather instead. I just think it's cuter with that.
I think that's cute.
Now we're doing the tack down, and then we're gonna go ahead and give it a trim. I'm gonna go grab another can of spray because I think mine's almost out and it's giving me a little trouble. Be right back. Okay, get your straight curved scissors, the curved straight ones, and go ahead and trim this up. This might take a little while. It's easier to slide it off the machine. If you've been doing classes with me, you're gonna see that I trim everything possible that I can with the hoop on, because I'm lazy. But this is definitely gonna be easier. I'm just gonna kind of slide this onto my lap and get in your happy place and just trim away. And I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge with leather. We do not iron. We don't use our iron on this. These are, I make a ton of these, and then they're my go-to if somebody has like a little kid and like their first birthday, or my kids didn't lose their teeth until they were older. They're like me. They're slow with the teeth. Do you ever go, I'm wearing my glasses, but I still can't see. That's how I'm feeling right now. Whoops, sorry, hit my filming arm. So Christine, have you done any Kimberbell projects? Is this going to be one of your first ones?
This is my first one.
Oh my goodness.
This is my first one. I followed, I started following a Kimberbell group.
Okay.
Somebody posted a pillow that was beautiful, that used a wreath design within I guess a Christmas quilt.
Yep.
And posted it. It was gorgeous, and that was what caught my eye initially. And so then I started paying more attention, and then this one was super popular on a recent post. And so I was looking to see if I could find it, because it looked like it would be a simple project.
Yeah.
to
I mean,
do.
does it seem so? It's pretty simple right now, don't you think? And
Well, so far so good.
yeah, and you'll get the video recording of the class too. So I'll send that to you after the class, and you can just watch that at your leisure.
Oh, terrific.
So I know some of the ladies in here already. Miss Ingrid, where are you from?
I'm from Canada,
Ooh, where in Canada are you?
in Saskatchewan.
Okay. And are you like a longtime Kimberbell gal?
I'm a little obsessed, yeah.
I know. I keep going. Well, I talk to my rep and I'm like, is there such a thing as death by Kimberbell? Because you're going to find me hunched over my machine, cutting out my Kimberbell applique, because we do so much Kimberbell in our shop. And I keep going, I'm not going to do the next project. And then I see it, I'm like, I got to do it. It's so cute. And so I can't stop myself. And yeah, I can't wait so they have that new quilt coming out, the Oh So Delightful. And I can't wait. I can't wait for that new line of fabric that they have. It is so cute. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you're done with the crown. Am I like slowing everyone up? You're probably like, let's get on with it, Jeannie. Okay, if you are done with the crown, if you did it in glitter, you would have glitter tooth, glitter crown, and then they want you to press. We pressed early because we were doing glitter tooth, leather crown. So based on what you're doing, you're pressing, but you do want to press your glitter down. If you don't, especially for big pieces like this, it can bubble, and you just don't want to have it have bubbles. Change thread to desired color, and we're going to stitch the tooth cheeks decorative fill. I have this really light, pretty pink right here, and that's what I'm going to use. So go ahead and change out your thread, and you're going to stitch out those cheeks. How about you, Miss Jen? Where are you from?
I have to unmute all the time. I keep putting you on mute. They're working outside, so there's all this noise from outside. They must be on break right now. I live in Kentucky.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us. Are you a longtime Kimberbell gal?
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Christine, are you seeing a trend here? It's like addictive and we can't stop.
Yeah, my friends say that I have a problem.
I know. Yeah, and then there's all the cute Kimberbell stuff. And I don't know if any of you went to, I know a lot of ladies who just got back from they had that big Kimberbell party, the Alice in Wonderland at my girlfriend's quilt. They had like a retreat up there. So yeah, Christine, get ready.
So do do patterns expire? Do they become not available? I mean, do I need to be aware of that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like getting Kimberbell designs on the website, that's kind of a newer thing. I want to say started more like at the pandemic. So I was explaining this to the gals on our live feed today. So anything from 2021 and earlier that was a dealer, like a Kimberbell club kind of thing, you get that from your retailer. Anything that is digital dealers, which started 2022, that is going to be from the Kimberbell website. And I'm not sure if it expires, but like if, for instance, this design, I'm going to go ahead and change out. So we just did the pink. Now we're going to do the mouth and the eye detail, and that's going to be in black. Anything like that, you would, you're going to get on the Kimberbell website. And like this design, if like for some reason you lost it and you couldn't find it, you can always reach out to me. And I would love to say I'm retiring tomorrow, but I'm putting 2 kids through college, so I'm going to be here for a while. Yeah, you'll be able to just reach out to me. You know where to find me. I'm
Gotcha.
here at the
Good.
store.
You
So
know, I have a little input on that.
Yeah.
If you want to buy if you have the CDs, the discs, those are now being put in the vault. And so they are discontinuing several of the projects. So if you see them at a store and they're one of the ones you buy, then I would definitely buy it now, because a lot of them, like I just tried to get the Janelle book pocket, the little purse, and
Yeah.
it's retired. So then
Yeah.
they go in the vault. And then if you're on My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop or whatever, they do take them out of the vault occasionally.
Okay.
I just got like a little, I don't know what that is, a little mess here. That can be from going through like the glitter and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and let me do that again. Other things that you want to keep in mind is when you are doing black, sometimes because of the high contrast between the black and the white, you might get a little pin dotting. So sometimes I will just put in another black bobbin just to match, but this is like a big old eye. So I'm just going to go ahead and rethread this. I got some fray here. If that happens again, I'm going to change out my needle. Nancy, where are you? And you can tell Nancy's a longtime Kimberbell fan too.
I'm from Minden.
Oh, I'm looking at your picture. Okay. Good to have you on in the class, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Nancy's local girl. We consider that local compared to Canada. And Miss Diane, are you Diane in Florida? Is that my
Yes.
Diane?
I'm
Okay.
in Northeast Florida, yes.
How'd you fare through the storm?
Well, we were really lucky. It went out to it hit the coast and went a good distance away from us. So we really lucked out.
Yeah, we've been worried about everyone. It looked so scary. So
Yeah.
So we just did the mouth and eyes, and now we're going to change to desired color, and we're going to stitch the arrow decorative fill. So if you look at this one, I did this one in kind of a light blue. I'm going to pick a pink that kind of matches my pink fabric here. So maybe I'll do, this one seems like a good tone. I'm going to go ahead and do my arrow in that, or maybe this one. I'm going to do this one right here. Yeah, that was an amazing storm. And I kept saying to Patrick, I go, well, I hope they're just making it, before the storm hit. I was like, oh, maybe they're just making it sound scary. I hope it doesn't. It looked really, really bad for the people down there.
Yeah, it's pretty
In that,
devastating. Looks like.
yeah. Okay, go ahead and thread it up, and you're going to do the arrow. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And this is step number 21. Miss Rolo, glad you're here. You stitching?
Thank you, Jeannie.
How about you, Joanne? How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Who are you making this one for?
I have a new great niece and a new great nephew, two different people. I'm
Nice.
making it.
Okay, after you stitch this, you're gonna stitch out the Dear Toothfairy Let's Trade. And it's gonna be in black. It's up to you if you wanna put a black bobbin in, but I just left my white one in. This one was thick enough. Look, I never even got my jump thread on this one. If you're trimming jump threads, there's two great tools, and I'll show those to you, and I'll go ahead and trim those. Looks like I didn't trim any of them. So I'm gonna change out to black, and we're gonna go ahead and stitch out the saying. If it was really, really fine, I would say go 60 weight thread and do a matching black bobbin. If you ever start to stitch when you're doing like a font or something like that, watch it in the very beginning. If you're ever doing anything fine, and if you start to see some white pin dotting, just change out your bobbin and just match it. Okay, for your jump threads, there's two things I love. I love the OESD. I think these are called like the perfect snips. And then there are side hoppers. So these are important tools to have in your kit. And I just use whichever ones I can find because I'm always losing stuff in my sewing room. You just take that hook and just get it right underneath that thread. And I snip one direction and then I flip them over to get as close to the stitch as possible. And then I snip the other direction.
Oh, I've never seen those before. That's cool.
Yeah, these are great. So these are OESD. I think they're on our site.
Okay.
And then the other thing I have side hoppers. And I always tell people these, oh, look at that. You know what? That to me does not look great. I did bring a black bobbin with me. And, you know, the other thing I always say is bigger needle, bigger hole. And I can feel this right now. And that's like a 90-14. I'm going to switch out my needle really quickly. And I'm going to go, hang on just a sec. I'm going to put this in. Hey, Michelle, will you give me a hoop tightener of green handle? I don't know what happened to ours.
I went back there the other day.
Oh, is it in here?
I found one and I put it in here. Oh, it was just.
Do you mind grabbing me one really quickly?
Do you know
Okay.
what it is, or do you want me to just?
Just a brand new one. Let's grab one. These are my favorite embroidery needles. These are, and we used to sell the ones that said Madeira, but the price went up and these are the exact same needles. They're the Oregon ones. So I started ordering these instead. I love them because number one, they're anti-glue. And if you're using spray or if you're going through anything sticky, and even when I'm not going through spray and I'm not going through sticky, these are kind of my go-to needles. If I'm not using these, then I like to use my 8012 Microtex needle, which those are for woven fabric. So if you're stitching on like knit fabric, you want to use something different, but let me go ahead.
Great. Which one is it?
It's the dark green. Yeah. That
Dark
one.
green?
Yeah, that
Oh.
khaki green or whatever it is. Okay. So my favorite tool to change out my stuff with is I always use this hoop tightener too. So this comes in a set. And these are things that I use all the time. This would be in my top 20. It'd be in my top 10 list. This hoop tightener, because I use it to tighten my hoop. I use it to change my needle. I use it to take off my shank. And I like it because, see, the screwdriver is inside of that hole, so it doesn't fall off. You're not sliding off. So if you want to tighten up your hoop, just put it on, and you have a big handle that you can put your whole hand on, and you can put it on here and use your whole hand. And then it's a little big for this screw, but I can see the screwdriver part. So I will put it in here. This should never be loose enough for you to undo by hand. I'm going to just take that guy out. He's a big chunky needle. I don't want him. And the other thing I love about these needles is because the color is gunmetal. When I take it out and I throw it on top of my machine, I go, oh, that is, so I'm going to hand tighten, and I'm going to take my screwdriver and just tighten it a little bit more. I know that that's my embroidery needle. So let me just change that out. You know, when we come in here, I just usually hop on the machine. That might be enough, just putting in that smaller needle. The 9014 would be like a large. This is going to be like a small. I'm just going to go with it. Let's see if that makes all the difference. And if it doesn't, then I'll just put my white bobbin in. You guys are probably all done and waiting for me, so I'm sorry. Let me stop talking. There we go. And if you are ahead of me and you're ready to go on, we are going to do the pocket placement line. Now your directions. My recommendation to you, I'm watching this, and let's see, we'll compare the two. With a big faddle needle and then with a regular embroidery needle. And I think it looks so much better just with the embroidery needle being a little bit smaller. Remember, bigger needle, bigger hole. But sometimes you want that bigger needle. If you're doing denim, you want the bigger needle. If you're doing something heavy and going through lots of layers, you want that bigger needle. Okay, if you're ahead of me and you are on this step, because you do not have to wait for me. Some of you are seasoned pros, Miss Carolyn, Miss Nancy, I know you're all seasoned pros. So if you're gonna do this, I'd recommend doing it in white. The reason for that is it says this basting stitch. Well, it's not really a basting stitch. It's going to be a stitch that they recommend you take out, and it is like a regular stitch that's hard to remove. So if you do it in white, you can just leave it. So if you're on this step, go ahead and change it to white. I know it's going to be a little harder to see than black, but at least you're not going to have to rip it out. And you can go ahead, stitch the pocket placement line.
Jeannie,
Yes.
I did mine already, and it is a basting stitch. It's not little like the other.
It was? I
Yeah.
just remember it being like, not like one stitch. You know how a basting stitch is long, and was it a basting stitch?
If you compare it to the embroidery lines, it's bigger.
Okay, maybe it was a basting stitch, but it definitely had like a lock in there, and it wasn't like an easy to just take out kind of stitch. At least that's what I remember, and that's what I put in here. So it's up to you. If you want to do a color that you can see, I'm going to do mine in white.
If you wanted to add a name on this,
Sure.
to personalize it, what step would that, do you think, would it be when the same step while this wording is stitching out?
I would have
can you
done that in the very beginning, and I'll show you that in the end. We'll add something. I
Okay.
feel like I see a little bit of that white still, and I'm just going to put in a black bobbin. So I brought one with me because I thought, oh, maybe I'm going to need a black bobbin for the lettering. So if you are seeing that white, you have the smaller needle and you're still seeing it, just put a black bobbin in, and that will solve all your problems. And you just have to remember, sometimes there is, there's just going to be some pin dotting. So we would have done that in the very beginning. What machine are you embroidering on?
I have a Malco.
You have a what?
A Malco. It's a commercial machine.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You have a commercial machine.
Yeah, and so it uses the computer to run the machine, so I can't zoom and do that at the same time.
Got it. Do you have can you combine your designs? And
Yes.
do you do on your computer and then send it with
Yes.
software? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could just go ahead. I almost feel like, you would just add your design, and I've seen some people add it like right underneath the two.
Yeah.
You could do it, right over here, like on the baby lock. It gives you some features where you could kind of curve it, if you could like move that around. But
Yeah.
I would have done mine in the in the very beginning. When we loaded the design, I would have loaded the design and then I would have hit add.
Oh, okay, okay. Because that would be, would you already have it on there when you were doing the pink fabric that you have on there initially? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, and you might have to, because this whole thing is considered one design. So you
Uh-huh.
might have to play with the order of the stitching.
oh,
In
okay,
software, I think you could, it'd be easier, but here you'd have to, before you put the whole pillow top all together, because this is all in the hoop we're going to put the backing on,
okay,
you would have, you're going to have to like fast forward and get the name and stitch it. And then, but yeah, there's definitely ways of doing it by just combining your designs.
okay.
I don't know, did anyone else get pin dotting? Because my font looks like super nice now. So if you want, on step 22, just add a note to change your bobbin to black. Okay, I'm just going to toss in my white thread. This next step, that's going to be, they call it the pocket placement line. It's that basting stitch. I just remember doing these. I don't know why, Joanne. I remember doing them and thinking, oh, I wish I did that in white because
Did you take out your black bobbin?
I did not. Thank you, ladies. I need all the help I can get. Let me go ahead and remove that. If you stitch with me long enough, you'll know that I need help. I just, okay. And I depend on you. Thank you, Joanne. Joanne knows me. Okay. I know it's going to be harder to see. Whoop. How about we thread it too? Let me hit my threading button. That's going to help. I'm going to go back to the beginning of that. This goes forward, that goes back, and now I'm going to stitch it. And it's going to be harder for me to see, but I'm not going to have to remove it later on. Okay, you want to grab your pocket fabric. That's the little one that you folded in half. It's going to be this cute one right here. Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe for me, Joanne, it was the locking stitch that I was like picking at it. Okay, so here's your fabric. I know it's hard to see, but my stitch goes from here to here. When you put this down, you want to make sure you centered it. You're going to place the pocket fabric with the folded edge centered along the placement line, and you're going to tape it into place. So you just want to make sure you have an even amount. So I have probably about 1/2 inch on either side of that placement line, and I'm just going to abut it right there. And I'm not even going to remove it later. Now it says to go ahead and tape it down in place. I don't spray on anything that you're going to be touching. So this is going to be one of those times that I'm going to go ahead and tape down. I usually use transport tape. It's like that medical tape. And I love it because it's so much easier to rip. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a piece down here outside of the stitch line and a piece here. Although I do have the new Kimberbell tape dispenser and I'm super excited about that because I'll put my Kimberbell tape on that. Okay. So I'm taped down, stitch the pocket tack down line, and then you're going to remove the tape. Color doesn't make a difference right now because you're going to have a heavy satin stitch. I'm trying to catch up to you, ladies. Then you're going to trim your fabric close to the stitch line. Do not trim the fold here. We're going to go on the outside and we're going to trim close to the stitch line, and then we're going to do our satin stitch. How are we doing, ladies? Anyone need help? Are we good? All right. I'm going to use my curved because I'm going close to my stitch line right now. I'm just going to pop it up and there's my curved. And let's go ahead and trim this nice and close. You don't want it to be far out because the satin stitch, the little threads are going to stick out. There we go. Nice and close, ladies. Just don't trim this edge over there. Change thread to your desired color and stitch the pocket satin stitch outline. So you're going to have a satin stitch outline and then you're going to have the white. So don't do white because, or you could do white and then you could go like blue on top of it. I'm going to go pink and then I'm going to go white on top of it. So I'm going to do my satin stitch outline.
Oh, is that putting a bean stitch outline on that? Is that?
It did a satin stitch and then it did the bean stitch down the center of the satin stitch.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. You did see that correctly. So I'm going to do this color and then I'll do the white down the center. Okay, if you're all ready to putting on the back, which Joanne, you might be there, I want you to be really, really mindful of the size of your fabric. If you want to cut another piece and just have it be big, you could do that. So you're not like having to be so mindful. And then we're going to talk about placement because you're going to have to really work with the size that that the cut instructions ask you for. How many of you cut your own fabric? Is there anyone that's using their own? So Corinne has her own fabric.
I got your kit, so I'll wait.
Okay. Okay, and if you're done with this satin stitch, then you're going to just put whatever color you want in. That's going to be the bean stitch that goes down the middle of your satin stitch. Maybe your little your toddler is edgy and you want to do black instead. Maybe she's goth. So if you do the white, I feel like you don't even have to remove that basting stitch. I just leave mine. Ladies, any requests? I don't know what other best of Kimberbell, like ones that you want to do that we're gonna do the Ranger bag next, but I don't know if anyone else has a request for something else. Oh, Nancy,
I'm gonna have to go to your website and look.
You could just look at if you look at Kimberbell Club and you could type in Kimberbell Club 2017, Kimberbell Club 2018, 2019, and 2020. Those are the ones that you can't really get anymore that I'm just bringing back. So you can do something fun.
Okay, it's Kimberbell Club.
Yeah, it used to be called Kimberbell Club.
Okay.
And some people still call it that, and I'm just doing them as best of. Is that so cute? And then you're gonna put that little tooth down in there. All right, I'm gonna change out to white. You fooled me, Nancy. I thought you were gonna have a request. I was like, oh, she's coming to the computer. If you are local, I can't ship them. But if you're local and you want to buy a Kimberbell Club, you can actually purchase like a USB, but I'm not allowed to ship them. You'd have to get it from like your local dealer.
Okay.
Okay, I hope I'm not losing anyone. If you're like falling behind and you need help, just stop me. I will get you caught up. I will make sure you're all set. Okay, we're going brick rack placement line. You can leave the white in. I'm going to put in gray so you can see it. But if you are, a pro and you're like, I don't need that. I can see it. I can feel it. I just go by feel. And you can just leave your white in. But let me go ahead and put in some gray so you can see. And we are going to put down our rickrack. You should have a nice piece of rickrack in your kit. Okay, this is going to be your rickrack placement line. This is step number 29. And you're going to see it's going to put 2 placement lines, one here and one here. We're going to put our rickrack down and we're going to put it like this. Don't put it the other way where it's going to go on top. You want it to be inside of the project like that. I guess I should have done white because now I have gray on gray. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but you can kind of see it. Okay. The instructions say, place the ends of the rickrack approximately 1/4 inch past the placement lines and tape them down. So I'm going to put, here's one of them, and I'm going to put it right here. Let me get my tape. We're going to tape it down. Just about 1/4 inch. I'm going to move this down a little bit so I can get to it. And then we're going to do the other one. Make sure that this doesn't twist. Make sure it's going to lay nice and flat. And I'm going to come down here. This is where the other one goes. This must have been the start. Got tape stuck to me now. I'm going to put this one down. And then it says stitch the rickrack, tape, tack down, and then remove your tape. I'm going to slide this back on. I'm going to leave that same color in there. Watch your foot. Make sure it's not scooping under. If it is, stop right away. I put my tape like right down so that the tack down was pretty much centered. So I should be fine, but always be ready at a moment's notice to hit your stop button. We've all had it where we couldn't get to our stop button in time and the foot scooped under. Next thing you know, everything's getting sewn down just how you don't want it. All right, so that is the tack down. We are now on to this step right here. So place the pillow back piece 1 fabric on the bed up. So now you're with me, Joanne, on the bottom edge of the pillow with raw edges extending about 1/4 inch beyond pillow edge and the folded edge towards the pillow center. So we're going to grab this first piece right here. Your folded edge needs to be pointing towards the center. And if you want, you could get a piece of tape. What you don't want is this rickrack to somehow, because this is what would happen to me. Oh, and let's take off our tape too. So we're going to go ahead and remove our tape. If anything could go wrong, it's gone wrong for me. And that's why I try to save you ladies. We've all had a foot scoop. Okay, let's talk about putting this down. So do you see how you barely have any fabric on the left and right? You've got to be super mindful of getting this placed. And I think that's why and that's with cutting it as per the instructions. That's why if you're going to do another one, go ahead and make that piece a little bit bigger. And normally I do that, but I apologize. In your kit, I would have done that. You know, we just cut the kits and then I went back and I was watching my stuff and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's still going to work. So here's your folded edge. You're going to go ahead and it's going to stitch. We're going to lay it down and it's just going to stitch right down here. But I want you to be super mindful that you are on either edge, that you're over the edge. I'm a little bit smaller here, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to actually tape it down. I'm going to look under here. I want to make sure I'm over this edge and I'm over this edge. And just be over this edge, maybe about 1/4 inch. That's going to be enough, okay? And if you want to make sure that this isn't going to move, you could give it a little bit of tape on the sides and just make sure that that is not going to move. We'll remove this later. But you don't have a lot to work with. So just peek underneath, make sure everything's going to get covered. Once you have that, slide it on. You're just going to do a stitch line right across. Color doesn't really make a difference, but if you want to pull in, put some pink in, you could put some pink in, or you could do white. Just where, you know, sometimes you like pull the seam and you're like, oh, I can see a stitch there. So I'm just going to put my pink back in. And it is just sewing down here on the bottom, just a line across the bottom. Go ahead and hit start. We're almost done, ladies. Easy peasy. You can assembly line this, just get a whole bunch cut. Have names ready to put on them, to personalize them.
That's kind of close.
It's kind of really close. So if you do them again, just make sure whatever I put here, just write in your directions right now and just put 5 by 7 and 10.5 by 7. That's going to give you an extra inch on the sides and a little bit more to reach down. Okay, now the next piece. So you have to be really careful with this one too. You're going to see the picture right here. They have this all the way up here. You're going to put it right side down. It is cutting it close, Miss Carolyn. Right side down. Now they show the picture they show. They want you to take this and bring it all the way down. So you're almost a 1/4 of an inch down here. But if you do that, guess what? We're not going to make it on this side. And this is as the instructions from Kimberbell. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this side first. And I want you to just be, I don't know, just about a 1/4 of an inch. Okay. That'll be enough. You would probably trim it to a 1/4 of an inch anyways. We're going to just put it down here. I'm going to tape this down so it's flat, so it's not like pushing up my fabric, because we're going to be close. We're going to be close on the sides. Okay, we are right side down. Folded edge on the right, raw edge on the left. I want you to start with this side. And I want you to go ahead and just about a 1/4 of an inch over here. So we have enough for the other side. And when we lay it down, we're really close. You're going to peek under here and you're just going to make sure that everything's being covered. You're going to have about like 1/8 of an inch on either side. Cutting it close, ladies. And it's not going to go all the way down here, but it'll be down there enough. All right. So peek under here, make sure you're covered on either side. I'm going to lay it down as I'm laying it down, and it's going to stitch over that stitch.
So this is the piece where your new measurements or the penciled in measurements gave us a little extra space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't, you know, it's, we've been so busy, and I was like, I need to, let me go ahead and go through this again. And then I noticed it because we did cut according to the Kimberbell measurements.
Yeah.
And just go ahead and lay it down. You should be fine, but check. I want you to check and make sure you're going to be on either side of that. I use the gray line. You're going to be on either side. And it's going to be just enough. Tape it down so it doesn't move too, because you don't have too much of a margin for error. And when you go to do the rest of them for all the grandkids, okay, I'm going to go ahead and slide this on. You have to be careful right here because you don't want the foot to scoop. This is where it likes to scoop underneath the folds, and then it gives you all sorts of heartache. So I'm going to put a piece of tape that's on that fold, so there's no way that foot can scoop. And it might just come down this way. I think it's gonna, it might come down like this, but just tape it. Just tape it so the foot doesn't accidentally go under here. You ladies know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we know what you're talking about. Stitch the final stitch outline, and then we're gonna remove all our tape. So go ahead and stitch it down. It's gonna go a little bit, And if you feel like at any point it's not covering that stitch, stop it. Because now's your chance to kind of save it if you need to. And it should be a little bit, I'm really close over there, but that's fine. After you're done with that, you're going to take all your tape off. This is a good time to use your precision tip tweezers. And Christine, you're going to see, like, if you do any of their projects now, they are super, super generous with their cut pieces. And
Okay.
so this isn't as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off all that tape. And a little extra tape's going to have saved you some heartache in the end. So just go ahead and remove all of that.
That's just medical supply tape that you're using. That's what you
It's
said?
transport, like we sell it in the store, but you can just look up transport tape and get it. It's called
Oh.
transport. And it just transport. Yeah. Here, I'll show you.
Transport.
Transport.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a customer show it to me. We were using the Kimberbell tape, and not that I don't love the Kimberbell tape. The times I use the Kimberbell paper tape are going to be like times where I don't want as much stick. So if I'm taping on like batting or something like that where it can rip it up, I don't
Yeah.
want to use transport. The transport is going to be too sticky. Okay. Ladies, that's kind of it. You're going to go ahead and remove the project, and it wants you to trim all the layers 1/4 of an inch from the stitch line. I mean, I'm pretty much 1/4 of an inch. Maybe I'm a little bit longer right here, but you can grab your rotary cutter and a quilting ruler, and we'll go ahead and trim it up, and we're going to trim those corners. We don't want to be too aggressive when we're poking out our corners. You know how you get greedy for a sometimes you want like that perfect corner. Don't get greedy. You don't want to push through the corner.
Yeah.
We've all done it, right? You're like, I just want that a little pointier. And then you push right through. Okay. Coming over here and I'm going to trim. Okay, we're gonna pop it out. Let me. This is before I pop it out. I always look at my instructions one more time, so because I'm so scared, I'm gonna be like, "Pop it out, ladies!" And then there's like one more step. Okay, so we just did our final outline, and now we're gonna remove the project from the hoop and trim all our layers. So let's go ahead and do that. You could use a no-show mesh for this too. I find that usually in their instructions, if they want no-show mesh, though, they put light mesh cutaway. Looking for where do we cut it? Here it is, under my stuff. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim this to 1/4 of an inch. Let's start with this edge right here. I want to see, then we're going to do show and tell. I want to see your stuff. If you've never used these rulers, these are Quilter Select, and they're gummy on the back. I feel like these are I don't know, they're great. They're great. Okay, I'm going to just throw this all away. And I'm going to trim into my corners, and then I have a point turner here. I've got 2 of them, or actually I think I only brought 1 of them with me, but this is the Clover point turner. So right here, it wants you to trim into your corners to just reduce the bulk. Don't get greedy trimming either. especially without much of a, when it's really, really close, you really don't want to be too aggressive pushing out that corners because your threads can fray. So be gentle, gentle ladies. Feather, not thunder. All right, here's our moment of truth. We're gonna go ahead and turn it. Be really gentle. Okay, when I turn, I'm gonna turn one side at a time. So I'm gonna turn this side first because it's gonna be easier to put our pillow in if we just turn one side and then we turn the other side with the pillow actually in there. Okay, so go ahead and turn one side first. Push out your corners. Don't be corner greedy. That'll be enough for me. You didn't even know there was a term for it, did you? Okay. I want you to just put your pillow in now, and then we're going to turn the other side. I'm trying to be really mindful that my seam allowance is really small over here. I'm going to squeeze you like a burrito. And then turn that around it. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to kind of get them in there. My pillow's nice and plump. All right, now I'm gently going to turn this one. I do have some tape in here, and I'll remove all the rest of the tape in just a little bit. Isn't it cute, ladies? Okay, gentle. Go ahead and turn this. And you want to push those corners too. Make them gorgeous. And if you want, you could do a little a seam light. My pillow's plump because I made my insert really plump. But you could take a little bit of 1/4-inch a seam light and just seal it. Because hopefully you don't have to wash this pillow, right? Who knows? You never know with kids. And give them a little push to flatten it out. There is your little tooth fairy pillow. And don't forget, you want to trim up all those, little jump threads. And there it is. I almost feel like the name, on the bottom, you might not see it because it kind of, depending if you make him a big fatty like mine. Oh, let's see. Okay, we're going to do some show and tell. I'm going to spotlight you because I'm seeing Miss Nancy's pillow right now, and it's so cute. So let me get this over here. Go ahead, Nancy, hold it up. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you. Super cute. I love it. Looks amazing. How about who else has one to show us? Miss Carolyn, do you have yours, or Ingrid, do you have yours?
Jeannie, this is Joanne. The pillow that I bought with
Yeah.
the measurements is really fluffy. I mean, it covers everything.
It was fluffy? Like it filled really well?
Yeah.
You know what then? Okay. So a lot of my notes were from when I did it in 2020. And if you there's a video on it. When I watched it back, the ladies were talking about how it didn't fill enough. So maybe I'm showing Ingrid's right now. Did I add? Look at Ingrid's. I love it. And Ingrid, that fabric's super cute. You could go boy or girl. So I guess, ladies, don't make an insert, just buy one because it looks like it fills. So maybe they got a little plumper or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's perfect. I love it. Thank you.
Nice. All right, how about, so we saw Nancy's and we saw, do you have yours, Joanne? Can we see yours? It's gonna look like mine. Anyone else have their pillow that they want to show off?
I'm not on a video. That's why I'm
Sure.
not on video.
Okay. Miss Carolyn, how'd you do?
Well, I was cutting it so close and it was too close, so I ripped it out and need to finish, but,
So you know what? And if it's too close, you could always just grab something else. It doesn't have to be the same fabric. It's a scrappy one would be really, really cute too. So, yeah, that's it, ladies. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you make a ton of these. They're so adorable and they're great things to give away to like your kids or for your grandkids or whoever you have. I send these out when somebody has a baby. This is part of my little welcome to the world gift package. I put one of these in there because I think they're so fantastic. Any questions?
yes, how much are the pillow inserts?
I want to say they're $12.99, but if you want some, it's also going to be 20% off. So just send me a note though, because that's not going to be on the website. You're going to have to send me a note. You could put the order in on the website and say, please give me my class discount. And then you'll get a discount on, whatever you want for the class. The only thing I don't discount at the 20% are going to be the kits we cut in the store. But if there's another and you get anything, it doesn't have to be something that I was showing you here today. If you wanted like the spring shower kit, that would be 20% off, but not Merry Christmas, y'all, because we have to cut those in the store. You get 10% off of those. Okay.
Okay,
So any other questions? All right, ladies, I will load this video and I'll send it to you.
thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.